My name is Ido, and I'm product manager at RAD Data Communications. I'm responsible for the voice over IP product line at RAD, and you may be wondering what does RAD have to offer. I guess some of you are familiar with RAD products in the access equipment. I'm going to use the other microphone. Okay. It's okay now? Okay. RAD has a very interesting voice over IP solution that is targeted exactly at the ISP. ISPs, small providers, medium providers, and the official title of my presentation is Service Provider Class 5 Voice over IP, an integrated approach. I'm going to speak about the benefits of an integrated system as opposed to other approaches. Another alternative, if you like, title for this lecture could be, does the life of an ISP getting into voice over IP telephony really have to be so complicated? We're going to start with overviewing the motivation and the considerations behind getting into voice over IP as a service provider that currently does not provide voice services. We're going to have a quick look at the possible solutions for Class 5 voice over IP telephony, and then we'll review the integrated VoIP system and we'll summarize. And in the middle, I will also want to show you a brief demonstration of what it looks like. Now, why would an ISP look into adding voice to its portfolio? The reason is not necessarily to make more money. It is not necessarily directly involved in additional income. The outcome is of all of these reasons that you see here, leveraging your infrastructure, using voice as a sort of a bait to gain more internet customers, and in fact create a much richer set of services that you provide to your customers and strengthen your image and positioning. I've seen this list comes from real life, comes from ISPs that I've met around the world, and this is really a summary of the things that are in the ISP's mind when they are deciding to switch to, not to switch to, but to add voice to their portfolio. Now, one straightforward possibility is to resell the voice, okay? To be a voice reseller, and that's perfectly fine. It may work for you. It may work for some ISPs, but you must take into consideration that there are some very important benefits of having a complete voice over IP telephony system that you control, and this is the key factor: gain full control. And we see at RAD, we see quite often these type of operators that start with being a reseller, reselling the voice, and then reaching the conclusion that they need more control over the services that they're selling. The control is over the cost, first of all, where to terminate the calls, the cost structure, which they cannot control when they are just resellers, and there is a real provider behind the service. It allows them to create new services and control these services very easily. Once you own the soft switch, you can modify and invent new services. In terms of service quality, everybody that has been in this part of reselling a service that is controlled by a third party knows what I'm talking about. It is sometimes frustrating when you face your end customer, and in fact You are like a middleman between the real provider, the real control, the guy in control of the service, and your customer. This taking control and having a system, a voice over IP or a voice system of your own instead of reselling, also means that you can secure your existing customers and sell more services. So, let's say I convinced you and you're looking for a voice over IP platform. Okay, did I convince you? Yes, great. No, okay. I convinced 80% of the crowd, which is nice. Far beyond my expectations. So what are the considerations that you should take into account? Of course, being especially a small, medium service provider, you want the system that you're looking for to be have a low entry cost, minimum financial risk, a complete solution from a single source. If you have problems, you don't want to chase around different vendors. Simple to manage, of course. Short time to service, fast return on investment. All of these mean low OPEX. Okay, and we'll touch on that later on. The system should be carrier class. You're a carrier, you're an operator, you are selling services to end customers. It should be scalable because probably you're starting with 1,000 customers today, and in a couple of years you will grow to 5,000, 10,000, etc. I think that when you make this decision, you should also take into account that getting it from an established vendor has the benefits of the reliability as opposed to other alternatives, which we'll talk about. A general view of the voice over IP, the service provider voice over IP network. At the central office, we see the class 5 soft switch, application servers, session border controllers, lawful interception for recording calls, class 4 soft switches and media gateways for doing transit and interconnecting to other operators and to international SIP trunks or H323 trunks. The connection to the PSTN also via these gateways. Something missing here? The guys paying the money, right? These guys. These are the end customers, and we can look at different types of end customers, SOHO, small office, home office, residential customers, small, medium businesses, each with their different needs. Some have a PBX with an analog or a digital interface. Others have just a few phones, analog fax machine, a point of sale, terminal for credit card. Every customer with his own needs, and some have their existing IP PBX. Some will migrate, will add a SIP module to their existing traditional legacy PBX and upgrade it. All of these kinds of scenarios. So let's have a quick look at the different customer types. I mentioned residential, SOHO, SMB, enterprise. They have different needs. They have a different capability of financial capability, or they will pay different fees for these services, and you need your system to support all that in a flexible way. So one way to go is to really start big time and go for the high-end soft switches, tier 1s, Alcatel, Broadsoft, Nokia, Siemens, all these giants. Of course, these are high-cost solutions. They're perfect for the tier 1s, for the large service providers, etc. Not necessarily the right choice for a small definitely not, but maybe also not for a medium size. What is this doing here? Short quiz. What is this? Okay, Rolls-Royce. So it's nice to have a Rolls-Royce, but not sure that you really need it. The other extremity are the low-cost solutions, open source. I guess a lot of you are employing these open sources. Sometimes they're perfect for your needs. If you have 500 customers, you don't have to do too much service provisioning, your system is quite static, it could be fine. If you happen to have a team of talented IT engineers, VoIP experts, and you already have this I've been developing this for several years, and that's fine. But in many cases, this type of solution is kind of a trap. It seems free. It's an open source, right? You have your guys there anyway with their servers and playing around, and you know, it sounds fun at the beginning. You start a pilot, you have 10, 50 customers, 100, and then in many cases you get stuck. What I propose is an integrated platform. Yes, please.
What about third solution?
Sorry?
A shared soft switch.
A shared soft switch. Yeah, that's a good solution. What you mean is actually a main provider having his own soft switch and providing access to the smaller provider, right?
Yes. And the small provider can choose how they route all different workers.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. This is one way to go. I totally agree with you. In fact, when I say I'm talking about a certain approach of an integrated system, which I think compares or gives a lot of benefits over the low-cost solution. And this does not necessarily have to be very much expensive, or and you will see exactly what I mean. I'm running a little quickly because we are quite short in time. When I say integrated, I mean a single management GUI, which is unified and controls both the soft switch services and the CPE management, everything from the same place. I'm talking about monitoring, call quality monitoring, everything that goes on your network. You want to be able to control it and to have the information, and everything needs to be synchronized instead of having different servers doing different things, which may be good if you're a tier one and you have this large team and different teams doing different stuff. But if you're a small, medium operator, you want it to be as simple as possible. Hardware, software version control, firmware upgrades, call routing based on the type of call, CDRs, these standard API, of course, to be able to interface with other systems. And this is what I mean when I say integrated. I mean a single management platform which is built in the soft switch and controls the CPEs. Now, this is nice talk. I wanted to show you a few examples by connecting to a demo soft switch that we have back in the lab at RAD. And I'm going to show you a few, just a few examples of really what I'm talking about. The first example is to create an additional phone number for an existing customer, assign it to a dedicated port on his CPE, on his gateway, and this port is going to be connected to a point-of-sale terminal. Okay, so I'm going to log into the system, and what I'm doing now is quite wrong, I know that. Everybody tells me I should not do demos, should not do live demos, right? Because I will forget the password. Okay, so although there is a risk in doing these things, I think the best thing is for you to really to see it with your own eyes instead of watching my PowerPoint slides, which are very nice, right? Right, great. Okay, so what I'm looking at now is the device monitoring map. I'm looking at different, each such a rectangle represents a CPE or a SIP client, or a gateway at the customer side. Could be an IPPBX, could be anything. The number is a unique ID, which is happens to be the main phone number of that device. I can, these are different color codes for different statuses, and I should focus on my task, right? The task was to add in a phone number. Let's see. I have Polish number. Okay. So I'm going to get into this device, or to be more exact, the configuration of this device. The device does not necessarily need to be connected physically right now to the network. We have the different, on the left you can see different categories for configuring. I'm going to skip all these that concern the router, the firewall, the different configurations of this CPE. Numbering, this CPE currently has 2 numbers associated with it with different profiles of services. I'm going to add another number. Associate a profile with it. Add. Okay, that's it. We have this new number. I want to link this number with an existing, with an additional port. So I'm opening this 3rd port on this CPE. Numbering. Take this number. Modem. I said I want this port to be connected to a point of sale, credit card terminal. Modem, I can select which type of modem support I want, bypass G711 ALA, and that's it, okay? So this is done. I'm good to go. I'm going to save, update. I don't have this, in this case, the device is not connected, so I'm not going to do the update. This was the first task that I successfully performed, okay? Let's go on to the second scenario. Your end customer wants to forward calls during lunchtime to his mobile phone. Bad mistake, I think. If you're getting lunch, get lunch, right? But this is what he wants to do. And after hours to an external call center service. Okay, so let's see how to do that. I'm going to save this. Okay. I'm going to go back to the main screen. And what did I want to do? Call forwarding, okay. Okay, in fact, I can locate the device, find device, adjust mode. I'm going to go into a different device now. Okay, this one. It's another subscriber. Telco services. And these are 3 numbers assigned with this device. You see in this case, the 3rd one has another profile called incoming calls only. All of these services are disabled on this port. I'm going to go into the first number, the main number, and you see all sorts of configuration, voicemail to email, caller ID, all that stuff. Scheduled call forwarding. Here I can configure for each day of the week. I can configure from which time to which time where to forward the call. Very easy. Now, on the other hand, you wouldn't want to do this process for every customer that wants to, to take his lunch late today, and he was going to call your call center, and right. So you want to give them, of course, self-service access for that, and for that you need your system to support a end customer web portal, which is very important. So the end customer logs into his account. He can view his details, the CPEs or numbers that he owns. Usually they will have only 1 or 2. Configure his voicemail, including voicemail to email. What do we want to do? Forward scheduler, right? So he wants to change his call forwarding, and there you go. You have the same table, the same data. When he saves it here, of course, in the operator view, you will see that these changes that are being reflected. So we're halfway through these tasks. Another example, you want to route all fax calls. Somebody here talked about faxes yesterday, right? The gentleman from Patton. I totally agree with you. It's amazing. We still talk about fax, but this is an issue in real life. And we've seen many operators that are using voice over IP providers with media gateways, Cisco gateways, other gateways, with certain firmware that don't support T38 fax relay protocol. And this gives them a lot of trouble. So this means, in fact, that you as an operator need to have the ability to control how you're routing this type of call. Okay, in this example, we're talking about fax calls, a set of rules. I am talking about a class 5 soft switch, which could automatically route all of the calls directly to a class 4. This is fine, but still you have here the ability to terminate calls to different media gateways, different SIP trunks from SIP providers, and perform least cost routing, and this allows you the flexibility, for example, of routing all the fax calls to a specific gateway that you select, because you know that this gateway supports T38. Great. One last example. A subscriber is complaining about voice quality issues. That's impossible, right? Happens all the time. You must quickly troubleshoot and locate the problem. Okay. The fact that a system is integrated, CPEs and soft switch and NMS, means that you can you have a database of statistics which you can search on. For example, in this case, we're looking for some problems with the voice quality. I want to see all of the calls. This is a captive system. It's a demo system, so I don't have a large database on that. But let's see if I can find calls with packet loss of more than 5%. Right, all these calls suffered from a packet loss of more than 5%. You can see the jitter, you can see the delay, packet loss, jitter, delay. And of course, you can search on other criteria. Just one more example. If your CPEs have an integrated ADSL modem, and if they happen to be RAD CPEs and you happen to have the RAD soft switch, etc., you could look for example, for ADSL statistics. You could set the device to report the ADSL physical condition of the line to the center, to the soft switch, and there you go. This device reported the downstream speed, the signal-to-noise ratio, the errors, the upstream, all of that reported to the soft switch, logged in the database, and can be reviewed for troubleshooting later on, especially if the ADSL doesn't come from you, but from the incumbent, and you don't control the DSLAM, you don't have control over the copper infrastructure. You need to have this in order to know what's going on with the service, right? Everybody agrees with me? Yes, good, good. Dziękuję. Okay, so what does this mean? I showed you this nice stuff. What does it really mean? You can go mobile again, great. This means that an integrated soft switch, it means that you are able to provision fast provisioning, efficient control over the service quality. Still, are these good why are these good motivations? Of course, it all comes down to money. Fast service provisioning means low operational expenses, optimized total cost of ownership, and the control, a tight control over the quality of the service that you're selling means that your customers are going to stay with you and you're going to ensure the revenues. When you go into this type of operation, you have to check very carefully the business plan. There are all of these at the end come down to whether your voice business is going to sustain itself and make money, or it's going to incur losses. And these, the number of the amount of resources that you will have to invest and to keep on a monthly basis, including technical staff, call center support, installation of every customer, the setup cost for every new customer. All of that need to be taken into consideration. It's just a screenshot of some tool that we are using. We have this, we developed this tool for helping the service provider to check his financial model, to check his business plan, and this is really crucial. Before finishing off, a few words about RAD's system, RAD VoIP or Voice over IP system, or RVS. We offer an integrated, what a surprise, I'm talking about an integrated soft switch, and that's what we provide. Wow. So we provide an Class 5 integrated soft switch with management and monitoring and provisioning system, which is called IPv Suite 200. At the remote sites, at the customer sites, we offer the service provider to deploy the IPv gate, CPEs, a whole range of CPEs with analog, digital, BRI, PRI. I have here some brochures. If you're interested, you could have a look at the more details. But with Wi-Fi, without ADSL, and this is an integrated solution. It is not a closed solution. It is open with APIs, and it is SIP compliant, fully SIP compliant. Every single project that we have deployed is interconnecting with other SIP compliant equipment, of course. But the core of the system, and especially the business customers, you want to keep them to keep a close control, tight control over them, and this is where our system comes in. Media gateways we can provide mostly from third party. We have our modest single PRI media gateway, which could be used for just for the beginning or for very small dispersed purposes like distributing E1s in several locations. An optional postpaid and prepaid billing system that is integrated with the soft switch. And basically, we call this telco in a box, just to list the components, the main components, the IPv suite, soft switch with integrated management system and the CPEs. And not less important, professional services. Each such a project concerns a large part of the decision of a provider to go for this kind of solution is to have this single point of contact and to be able to get support, remote supports. Our support guys get alerts from the system, directly from the system, that I don't know, some partition in the server is starting to get filled, some action needs to be done. So all of that support is done from RAD, and we also are able to add complementary third-party elements, or these could be added independently by the service provider. Summary, record time to service, single vendor responsibility, very crucial, the integrated management system, which I'm sure that I convinced you that implies a minimum OPEX. License-based, this is also very important to start a project. You don't want to invest hundreds of thousands of euros or dollars. You need your business model to be flexible enough and to be able to absorb changes in your changes versus your original plans. You might have planned to have 100 customers, new customers every month, but you have only 80, right? You need to be flexible on that. Smart end devices, the CPEs or customer located gateways, which ensure the customer satisfaction. More info can be found on the website or in the next 30 minutes. If you want to talk to me, I'm still here. And that's it. Thank you.